I want to welcome everybody to this demonstration. Breaking news. Suspect in the tragic death of Keimani Latigue has been wounded. Her grandmother has not been arrested. I'm going to give the people a few more minutes to pull up. Let me go over to Facebook and welcome my Facebook family and friends to the demonstration. Salute to the chat. Salute to the replay game. Salute to my moderators. Salute to you, him, and her. Salute to everyone. And yes, another sad story involving a little girl. We all hoped for the safe return for Keimani, but unfortunately, she is no longer with us, and the main suspect that they have is her father. So we're going to start off with the father, and then we're going to go into the grandmother. And can I get everybody to throw up some prayer hands for 3 of my Rock Squad members that are dealing with some health issues? Can I get everybody to throw up some prayers for Coffee Girl, Nikki Lynn, and 80s Baby? And if y'all are watching, we are sending prayers y'all way. But let's get into this.
Developing now, a Toledo man charged with the murder of his 13-year-old daughter is in the hospital after he was shot by a Columbus police officer today. Police say they have been watching that man, Darnell Jones, for at least 2 days now. We thank you for joining us today. First at 4, I'm Jared Smalley.
And I'm Sierra Johnson. NBC4's crime and safety reporter Anna Hoffman has been at that scene all day, and she's live right now at Victorian Village, where the shooting happened after some sort of confrontation with Columbus police. Anna?
Yeah, Sierra and Jared, police say Jones is expected to survive, and all officers that were involved are okay. Police leaders describe the crime that Jones is accused of as horrific. Records say he is charged with the murder of his 13-year-old daughter. Now, this intersection where the shooting happened just opened back up a little more than an hour ago. Now, just before 10 this morning, Columbus police SWAT officers say they made contact with Jones and that one officer shot Jones multiple times and hit him. We obtained surveillance camera video from a neighbor. In that video, we could hear 5 shots. Police say Jones had a firearm. It is unclear if he shot back at the officers. Police say Jones was taken to the hospital where he had a lengthy surgery, but again is expected to survive. People who live in this area say they were shocked to see this happening.
It was a very serious crime that he was wanted for, and this was something that we had to take very serious in terms of the suspect's actions and what we believe he may have done to the point where we are following him.
I don't usually typically hear gunfire down here, so I moved down here about a little over a year ago, and this is the first probably big incident.
Columbus police say they are still working to determine why Jones was in Columbus and what his connection to Columbus is. The state investigators are now overseeing this case. Columbus police say body camera did capture this exchange and they will release it as soon as possible.
So, another monster. Another monster. How many of y'all from the very beginning, how many of y'all had the father as a suspect? Drop a 1. Drop a 1 if from the very beginning you believe that the father had something to do with her disappearance. Drop a 2 if you was believing the father. For me, when I first heard the father, When I first heard the father say that she was scared, he went over there. Two things a father going to do. One or the other. He's going to stay at that house, apartment, or resident with his daughter all night long, or, and most fathers is going to take that daughter with him to his place of residence. So I knew from the beginning, the father is suspect off the rip, but he has been charged with her unaliving. They do have him in custody. They do have him in custody. I'm going to go to the grandmother. Many was under the impression that the grandmother was arrested, but the grandmother has not been arrested. And she's going to go into detail what that was all about. No, that's not what I want. Give me a minute, y'all. I'm coming. Salute to the chat. Salute to the chat.
Welcome into WTOL 11 News on Plus. I'm Sophia Periconi. We continue to track details about the disappearance and death of 13-year-old Keimani Latigue. First, we go to the latest on the investigation. We're working to gather more information about a shooting in Columbus this morning that may be connected to Keimani's murder investigation. The president of the Columbus Fraternal Order of Police says a man who was
way or a harmful way, that hurts me.
All right, let's go to the interview with the grandmother and the aunt. And the grandmother is going to explain to y'all why many people thought that she was arrested. Once again, salute to the chat. I will come down there to the chat. Make sure y'all throw up some prayer hands for Nikki Lynn, Coffee Girl, and 80s Baby. They're dealing with some health issues. And Miss Parker. Miss Parker will be going live later on at 8 p.m. She will have some of the family members of Keimani Latigue on her podcast. So let's see what the grandmother and niece has to say.
Welcome into WTOL 11 News on Plus. I'm Sophia Pericone. We continue to track details about the disappearance and death of 13-year-old Keimani Latigue. First, we go to the latest on the investigation. We're working to gather more information about a shooting in Columbus this morning that may be connected to Keimani's murder investigation. The president of the Columbus Fraternal Order of Police says a man who was shot by SWAT this morning is wanted for a murder of a teenage girl here in Toledo. However, neither he nor a spokesperson for Columbus police would confirm if that man is Darnell Jones. Here's what the FOP president had to say.
When I heard about this case, this was an individual wanted for homicide out of Toledo. I called my union counterpart in Toledo. I said, hey, good news, we have your guy. Your guy committed a murder, chose to fled to our town. I'll tell you right now, the wrong town to come to if you murder somebody. Our SWAT team will go out looking for you.
We are working right now to confirm if the man shot this morning is Darnell Jones. He's wanted for the murder of 13-year-old Keimani Latigue. We'll keep you updated as we learn more.
And it has been proven that that suspect is Darnell Jones. It's updated that he is the suspect in Keimani's death. So let's go to the aunt and grandmother.
And just a short time ago, our Silver Barker exclusively interviewed Keimani's grandmother and legal guardian, and then Keimani's aunt. Here's what they both had to say.
So my first question for you, yesterday, lots of things was going on. We want to know specifically at your home, there was a lot of speculation online that you were being arrested, but when we checked with police, that was not the case. So can you further clarify on exactly what did happen yesterday at your home?
Well, I was called and told that there was a mob of people in front of my house. They were angry. It was more or less the people that were here earlier waiting to see if it was Keimani that was in the home. And basically some people from the neighborhood had contacted me and said that there was a mob in front of my house and they were talking about what they were going to do to me once I came home. So the police, the detective said that she would have a unit come out and help me get my things and more or less escort me off the property. I asked to be handcuffed just so they can get the away from my property.
So as we all just heard the grandmother say that she asked to be handcuffed and escorted away so they could get the F off of her property. How many of y'all didn't believe the grandmother from the very beginning, the same as we didn't believe the father? I didn't believe the grandmother from the very beginning as well as the father. Salute Tudor. Tudor says a damn lie. I wasn't buying it. And even when they were outside of the abandoned house, before it was known, and even now, y'all can see, never shed a tear. Sabrina says lies. Never shed a tear. Salute Top Flight. Positive Vibe says still don't believe it. Salute Precious Jones. It's certain things that we all look for. It's certain things that is going to show. They say the eyes never lie. And you could just look in her eyes. But for those that were under the impression that she had been arrested and she had been charged, she hasn't been arrested and she hasn't been charged. She was being escorted because of the angry mob, and she asked the police if they could handcuff her. So that lets y'all know right there that she's thinking. She's thinking. Ross says the police said it's standard procedure to cuff anyone they transport. Miss Minnie says, I'm late, but I'm here. Appreciate you for pulling up, Miss Minnie. Salute, Marty. Blue Devil says BS. Positive Vibe says the eyes mirror the soul. Facts. Salute, Ross. Salute, Yvette C. Top Flight says they don't handcuff you because you want to be. Now, I don't know how Ohio works, but We're going to go by what she say. And she says she asked. But many of y'all says it's standard that the cops handcuff you when you're being escorted. Michelle says, that's right, Top Flight. Drop a 3. Drop a 3 if you ain't believe the grandmother. And if you still don't believe the grandmother, drop a 3. Drop a 4 if you agree with the grandmother. I don't agree with her. Never did. I never did, y'all.
Are you scared?
So no, I was never arrested. I was taken downtown, but
So she says she was never arrested. However, she was taken downtown. Now, taken downtown, what I was always to believe to be questioned. When the law takes you downtown, they ain't taking you downtown to watch a Netflix movie with you. They ain't taking you downtown to pat you on the back. They ain't taking you downtown to eat. They taking you downtown to question you. So she's stating that she was taken downtown. Tudor says, I don't know what's up with these new grandmothers. Back in the day, our grandmothers ain't play certain ish. Facts. Can y'all imagine? Can any of y'all imagine y'all grandmothers on the news with this foolishness? I can't even imagine my mother. Almighty says, who just volunteers to be handcuffed? So maybe they did put her in handcuffs to take her downtown to question her about the unaliving of Keimani. And maybe after they questioned her, maybe they released her because they couldn't find nothing to hold her on. Now that's happens all the time. That happens a lot. They'll take you downtown and question you, but because they don't have sufficient evidence, enough evidence right then and there, they got to let you go. So maybe she's lying about asking them to handcuff her. Yvette C says she looks worried, like she guilty of something. I picked up on that too. Ross says she might not have been arrested yet, but that doesn't mean they won't. Exactly. Victoria says Shank. In an interview with the grandma and Darnell, it shows that his name is Darnell Ogletree. In the mug shot, it shows his name is Darnell Jones. Is this the same guy? I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that, Victoria. Can anybody answer Victoria's question? Can anybody answer Victoria's question? Top Flight says, so if you are witness to a crime, they put you in the back seat uncuffed. He looks like the same guy. She lied. She took her statement. Salute, Miss Belinda. Salute, Miss Belinda. Why was this man around this child if he wasn't the real father and him and mother not together? Exactly. Salute, Betty. ES. Betty says ES. Miss Minnie says, okay, Betty says yes. Miss Minnie says, we know she guilty of something. Why would she put out those fake texts? Exactly. Salute, Cotan. Salute, Cotan. So let's get back to lying-ass grandma. We're going to call her lying-ass grandma.
I was never arrested.
Are you scared for your safety right now?
I am.
What are some of the things that you've been hearing and receiving from people?
They said they was going to blow up my house. They said they was going to do harm to me. It's just been a barrage of different things that they've been stating.
And now yesterday, or, let's backtrack first for a little bit. So you are the guardian of Keimani, or you were the guardian of Keimani, correct?
I am the legal guardian of Keimani.
So she's getting ready to run it down because I know a lot of people have been trying to figure out, is she the biological grandmother? Was Darnell the biological father? She's getting ready to give us a rundown. She's getting ready to give us a rundown on who's the biological parent, grandparent, who custody she was in, etc., etc. Now y'all let me know, do y'all think that she's lying about this?
Okay. So in terms of taking care of her, when was Keimani placed under your care?
A year ago.
So you take care of her.
She's been in my home for the past 5.5 years, but I just obtained legal custody of her a year ago.
Were you and Keimani close?
We were.
What were some of the things, trying to think of her and paint a memory of her in a good light, right now with everything that's going on, what was Keimani like? Tell me a little bit about how Keimani was in the time that you've got to know her.
Keimani was phenomenal. Keimani was a helper. Like she was older than what she appeared to be. Like,
and I'm gonna stop it right there. Why is it always the children, the kids, even the adults? Why is it always the good ones? Why is it always the good ones? She has nothing but nice things to say about Keimani. Marty says, yesterday they said in the school she didn't have legal custody. So what's really going on? Now, what I do know is make sure if you can pull up on Miss Parker tonight at 8 p.m. And if you can't pull up on Miss Parker tonight at 8 p.m., make sure y'all catch her replays, because Miss Parker can give y'all step by step when it comes to the case. She's interviewed the teacher, the mom. So if you're not familiar with this case, I have to send y'all to Miss Parker. Miss Parker has been covering this case from back to front, front to the back. She's going to be going live at 8 p.m. So is she lying? Is she lying? Marty says yesterday that, let me come back to Marty. Marty says yesterday they said in the school she didn't have legal custody. Now she's saying, I believe she did have legal custody. What's really going on with lying ass grandma? Chick says, was she the FP to the mother? We're going to listen to her again, and hopefully she'll tell the truth. Top Flight says, where Godmom at? Blue Devil says, do she look older than 13? And here's another thing, y'all. Salute PJ. Salute PJ. Appreciate you for pulling up. Let me get everybody to give PJ, just keeping it real, a warm welcome. So she was 13 years old. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. At 13 years old, your grade would be the 8th grade, right? At 13 years old, when I was 13, I was in the 8th grade. Now, some people started school late, so then they would be a grade behind. And then at 13, you would be in the 7th. Then there were some cases where people failed 2 times. And when they were supposed to have been in the 8th, they was in the 6th. And I'm not going to say that it's not possible, but I've never heard of anyone, I've never heard of any child 13 years old still in elementary school. Salute, Shauna. Salute, Shauna. So maybe y'all could help me understand a little better. What was a 13-year-old girl doing in elementary school? Juanita says, wow, these cases are so similar. What the hell is going on? And it all surrounds the number 13. It all surrounds the number 13. Now, in some conscious circles, the number 13 is the number of the devil. I know when I was young growing up, I was taught that 666 is the number of the beast. However, later on in some conscious circles, the devil's number is 13. If you look on the back of the dollar bill, I know the Masonics, they use that number 13. On the back of the dollar bill, you'll see that eagle holding 13 arrows. There's also 13 stripes and other symbolic on the back of that dollar bill with the number 13. So let us do our homework on the number 13. And if you got some information on the number 13, please share with us in the chat as well as on the replay game. But another 13-year-old little girl, another 13-year-old little girl. Victoria says, it said that she will be 14 years old Friday. I believe I heard. I do know that her birthday was coming up, Victoria. I do know that her birthday is coming up. And that's even worse. What is a 14-year-old teenager doing in elementary school? Is she might have been held back a grade? Then that will put her in the 7th. Like I said, maybe the 6th. And I've had people when I was in the 6th grade that belonged in the 8th. One of them, they started school late, then they failed, or they were held back. A couple people failed 2 times. But I've never heard of a 13-year-old girl going on 14 years old still being in elementary school. Nazaria was still in elementary. Nazaria was another one. And if you look at that picture, with Nazaria, that picture that she took the last day of school, there were students in back of her. And those students look like they belong in high school. Somebody's been lying to us. The number was 25. She was either held back or perhaps an attendance issue. All right, let's go back to line as grandma. Salute, Chen. Salute, Passion. Let me get everybody to give Passion a warm welcome. If you're new to the channel, if you're new to the platform, let us know so we can give you all a warm welcome. If you are new to the platform, let us know so we can give you a warm welcome. Chen says, my daughter is 16. She is a 20th grader. Marty says, maybe the elementary school went up to the 8th grade. Okay, good point, Marty. Good point. Appreciate that, Marty. 10th grade, 16, okay. Alicia says, my daughter's middle school went to 7th. She turned 14 and is in the 8th grade, which, okay, I think that's all right. So let's get back to line as grandma, y'all. Let's get back to line as grandma. And if you are interested in attending this year's Rock Squad 3rd annual meet and greet, October the 23rd through October the 27th, please see Marty. Marty is in the chat. Please see Marty if you're interested in attending. Time is running out. We got some new subbies, Shay and Betty. Make sure y'all give Betty a warm welcome, and make sure y'all give Shay a warm welcome to the platform as well. And I probably won't be able to call out all of the new subbies, but make sure my moderators, Rock Squad, and everybody else, make sure y'all are giving everybody that's new, make sure y'all are giving them a warm welcome. Salute Grisky. Salute Grisky. I'm sure Grisky is new to the platform as well. So make sure everybody give my new subbies a warm welcome. Let's go back to line as grandma.
You know how they say somebody has an old soul? She was that. She loved older music. She loved playing video games. She loved the friends and family that she was allowed to be around. She played basketball for Spring Elementary. She was highly intelligent. So I'd like to clear up the mental issue statements. No, she was not mentally ill in any way. We had her, assessed, and they didn't feel as if anything was wrong with her mentally. So that was not an issue. But back to Keimani, she would, like, say, for instance, someone would come over and they had children. They didn't have to worry about their kids because Keimani immediately embraced them and would play with them, kid stuff. She was phenomenal. Like I said, she was like no other kid her age.
What school did Keimani go to?
She went to Spring Elementary.
And we were told that at that time she was doing good in school as well too, correct?
She was. She had brought her grade point average up from a 3.4 to a 3.9. And, you know, actually they were going to have an award ceremony for the basketball players today at 5:30. But when I divulged to them that she had passed, they've rescheduled it. She was going to receive her trophy for being, you know, on the team and stuff.
And she has a birthday that's coming up, correct?
Her birthday is Friday.
So yes, her birthday is Friday. Let's give the little angel, Keimani, let's give her a happy birthday. Let's throw up some happy birthdays, some cake and ice cream, and also let's throw up some purple hearts for Keimani Latigue. Friday is her birthday. So let's wish her happy birthday, throw up some cake and ice creams, and throw up some purple hearts for Keimani Latigue.
And she would have been turning 14.
She would have been 14.
So she would have been turning 14. So that's correct. I can't remember who in the chat mentioned that she would be turning 14, but that's correct.
Did you have any plans for her birthday?
We were going to have her a large birthday party because it would have been her first birthday where, once again, all of my children were together and could participate in the party. Her mom was supposed to come and everything. So I asked her early on, what type of party do you want? She said she wanted a basketball themed party. So that's what I bought, things that revolved around her playing basketball. I'm still receiving stuff in the mail for that.
So there's been some confusion now in terms of when it comes to family, you know, who's her biological father, who is her biological mother, and then also was she in the foster care system? Can you clear up a little bit of all of that? You know, when Keimani was placed in your care, you know, when is the LCCS? Who exactly did she come from, and how did she?
She came from her other legal guardian.
So she came from her other legal guardian. So she had a legal guardian before her.
I choose not to state her name, but she came from her other legal guardian because the other legal guardian and I were best friends. The other legal guardian is my daughter, Keimani's mom, godmother. And we had already discussed when early on, because she's been with this person since she was 9 months old. My daughter has never really had custody of Keimani. So she's been with this person since she was 9 months old until, like I said, maybe 5.5 years ago. Now, off and on, this person, we would interact and, you know, do different things with her, for her, or I would contact her and tell her, well, I need this, or Keimani would like that. And she would come by and oblige, and we would commence. It's just too much.
Earlier you mentioned, when you were talking about what Keimani was like, you know, you had mentioned that when family members did come over, who were allowed around her. Can you expand on that? Is there family members that weren't allowed around her?
No, it's just not very many that came around. And those that did, you know, she acted, as far as I'm concerned, she acted accordingly. She embraced all children, bad or good. Okay, next question.
So now we do know that Darnell, you know, people are looking for Darnell Jones right now. The police are looking for Darnell Jones, and there's an arrest warrant out for him. Do you have any idea of his whereabouts?
Oh, well, to my knowledge, he was just arrested in Columbus. He just recently had a shootout with the police in Columbus. They're saying that he confessed to her murder, and no, I take that back. They're saying that he confessed to her rape and slitting her throat.
So So coming from the grandmother, Darnell has confessed to sexually assaulting he's confessed to sexually assaulting Keimani and also slitting, cutting her throat. Salute, Miss Parker.
How's it feel to learn that?
I can't even say.
You know, as the police report mentions, Keimani was last seen with Darnell. You know, do you have any regrets of letting Keimani go with, as you're her guardian, do you have any regrets of letting Keimani go with Darnell?
So he was the last person to be seen with Keimani. And I've always said it, and I'll say it again. The last person that was seen with the victim, usually that's the killer. And that's why in the Nazaria Harris case, many believe Shannon took Nazaria's life, because according to Shannon was the first one. Shannon was the last one with Nazaria. So now in this case, the father was the last one with Keimani. Appreciate the happy birthdays. My birthday is Thursday, March the 27th, a day before Keimani's. I appreciate the happy birthday wishes.
I do only because, like I said, I feel deceived. I feel like this was pre-planned. I feel like you meant to do this. I feel like you was grooming her.
When you say grooming her, is there things that you saw before this leading
No, I never saw anything out the ordinary. But when molesters decide to choose prey, they groom you first. So they give you gifts. They try and make you comfortable with them. They try and say little things to you that you and they can keep secret. And then eventually they pounce. And that's how I feel that oh God, how all of this is played out, I feel that's what happened. She was a virgin. She didn't like boys.
There's also comments, and we're just trying to address those and get those addressed. But there's comments online and speculation again that, you know, Keimani, her home situation, she was abused. What do you have to say to that?
Okay, abuse in whose eyes? Because she was not abused. Yes, she was chastised whenever she was wrong or did things wrong. Other than that, she was not abused. She was not just whooped for no reason or just because I felt like it.
Well, appreciate that super chat, Miss Parker. Appreciate the super chat, Miss Parker. Thanks for the happy birthday wishes. Now, according to her, you know, she was a good child, right child. And I mean, let's just be honest, you know, children, they do things, you know, to be disciplined. And everybody has different opinions on the whole discipline. Some people don't believe in discipline. Some people believe in disciplining. Salute, Miss Callie. Salute, Doug. But in this case, she's openly admitting that she did whoop Keimani. that I'm sure explains the bruises Yeah, my birthday is Thursday, March the 27th. I see you, Doug. Appreciate that, Doug. My birthday is March the 27th. But she did take responsibility for whooping her.
Went through this twice because the school system had contacted CSB on her behalf when she went to Bennett Academy. And they came in, they did a case study and closed it. They've stated there's a way to chastise children without physically harming them. And you need to whoop them on their behind, nowhere else. So, okay, with that in mind, I knew that. So she didn't have like bruises all over.
How long ago was that when they came into your home?
I would say the latest, it was approximately 7 months ago.
And so you say the latest. So was it a few times that they came into your
It
home?
was twice total.
So twice total that they came into your home. Okay.
Do y'all think CPS should have took Keimani out of the grandmother's care? They came out 2 times. I appreciate all of the birthday wishes. I appreciate all of the birthday wishes. I will be 53 years old this Thursday. I will be 53 years old this Thursday. I appreciate all the birthday wishes because CPS got called out 2 times. 2 times. The CPS got called out. I believe that this is the mother's mother. I believe that this is the mother's mother. So I believe that CPS got called out 2 times. I do believe that she should have been taken out of the home. Yes, positive vibes. I've been bald for 43 years of my 53 years.
And it was all for just like you mentioned, what you just said earlier.
Yes.
Explaining. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, in terms of, this whole situation, so you were not arrested, correct? And that's
Correct.
what, a lot of people seem to think as they saw you going out in cuss. That's what you asked for, correct?
Yes.
Right. Okay, so my first question for you, can you tell me your relation to Dorothy?
I'm Dorothy's second oldest daughter. I'm Keimani's aunt. My name is Sanika.
So we get right here from the aunt. Appreciate that super chat, D Money. Appreciate the super chat, D Money. Appreciate the happy birthday wishes as well. Salute Nola. So this is the aunt.
I live in Indianapolis. All this that is going on is devastating. You wouldn't think that, you see it happen around the world, but when it hits close to your heart, you really just be thinking like, did I do something wrong? Did I fail her? She didn't have the life to live that we have got to grow and live. She was only 13. So to know that somebody that I trusted, which was her father, to come through and deceive us just to get to Keimani in some sexual way or a harmful way, that hurts me to the fullest. At the point I feel like I failed her, me as being her aunt, run to and tell anything and everything to. That was my girl. That was my baby. And to hear all of this, to know all of this, and to be going through all this and hearing it for as long as that it went on, it's very devastating. I see so many people that are supposed to be my family that's going against my mom and me for that instance, and saying like, oh, she failed her, she had something to do with it, she had this and that. It doesn't matter at this point. For right now, and until we get justice for Keimani, it's all about Keimani. What I would like to say is there's a lot of people on the internet starting GoFundMe's, and that's not what we need right now, because it's not what Keimani needs. The funeral home has objected to say that they're going to come and pay for everything, so there's no need for any GoFundMe pages, any of that.
So let me just say this, y'all. There's no need for anybody to send any money to a GoFundMe account, because according to the aunt, the funeral home has said that they're going to take on the responsibilities of giving her a proper burial, a proper funeral on the expenses of the funeral home. So don't get scammed. Don't get scammed. I know it's a lot of us out here that want to help. Do not, and I repeat, do not send any money to any GoFundMe accounts that have Keimani Latigue name on it.
Everything is being taken care of that needs to be taken care of by her family, her immediate family.
Does it upset you that there are GoFundMe's? Some of them, I think, in cases of might be scams too, as well. That are going around.
What upsets me is that people are starting these GoFundMe pages and putting Keimani name underneath it, and they know that it's going to get viewed, and people have sympathy and feel some type of way about that. And some of them can be scams, but I know some of them have come from family members. When just let the immediate family handle that. Like, what y'all gonna do with the money if y'all not turning it into the funeral home? There's no need. Let us handle it. Y'all just sit back and give us the emotional support that we need. That's what we need right now. As a family, as a community, we should all come together and just give each other the emotional support that we honestly need. And that's just what I asked for everybody to, calm down, breathe. I know this is a hard time, because it's not just a hard time for y'all. This is a rough time for me. I just need y'all to come together and understand that we need each other as a community, as a family, and emotional support is what we need the most in this situation.
Yesterday the crowd was. Yesterday, if you were here, I'm assuming the crowd was very upset. Lots of emotions going through too. Especially at this time with such a sensitive situation. We've heard multiple comments out in the crowd, attacking or pointing fingers at your mom. So, what has it been like trying to be her support system and helping her out?
In a way, you have to be mature enough to decide, am I going to follow along with the crowd, or am I going to, stick around with the loner? I'm to the point where I'm not following nobody. I'm going with what's right. If it was your mother, if it was your niece, would you console your mother? Would you console the person that was closest to her, who lived with her? I'm not out to have a torch and the pitchforks and all out to go against anybody except the person who did this, which I believe was her father, Darnell. I don't have any other anger pushed towards anybody else. I'm angry that this happened, but I'm angry at the person who did this.
Do you know if have you been in contact with Tiara, the mother?
Yeah, I've been in contact with my sister. It's been briefly. It's been over through text. Like I said, I live in Indianapolis. I seen her yesterday, but that was very brief. It wasn't even more than 5 minutes. It was more or less that she wanted to show me my other niece, Kazaria, which is Keimani's youngest sister. But it wasn't like it was oh, sis, what are we gonna do? Any of that. And I don't wish this on nobody. I really don't. I could, your mind go different places when it's a baby. That was a baby. Like I said, I have a very close relationship with Keimani. She was a tomboy. She wasn't out looking for, trying to be fast or, mischievous or any of that. So for her mother to come down and have all this to say and all that, Tiara, where was you for the past 4 years? We haven't seen you since Keimani TikTok party.
Appreciate that super chat, Miss Minnie. Appreciate the super chat, Miss Minnie. Appreciate the happy birthday wishes. Appreciate you, Miss Minnie. So according to the sister, Keimani's mother haven't been in the picture for the last 4 years. I know it's rough out there. I know it's rough out there. For mothers, I know it's rough out there. But as a mom, whatever issues that you may have, whatever issues that you may be going through, please seek help. There are resources out here. There are programs. There is help available for whatever it is that you may be going through. If you are a mom and if you are struggling with an addiction, seek NA. Seek some kind of counseling. And for us as family members that have nieces and nephews and little cousins, if we know about any kind of negligence, if we know that a cousin of ours, a nephew or a niece is being neglected, please let us do our best to intervene. And I know times is hard. Money is tight. And I know we too are dealing with issues as well. But let us try to find some kind of solution, or let us try to find some way to help out with our nieces, nephews, and cousins, because we don't want to be in this auntie's situation where as though I know that it's killing this auntie right here, because she feels like she could have done more. So let us all try to do better, even though it's not our responsibilities, even though we're not obligated to take care of our nieces, nephews, cousins, grandchildren. But I want to ask y'all this question before I move on. Where is the Spirit of God? Is the Spirit of God, is it still amongst us? Where is God at in the equation? Where is God at in these situations? We were taught that God is always present. Now, I'm not throwing no shots at God. I'm just asking the question. Where's God at? Has the Spirit of God left mankind? Because as we all can see, case after case after case, these folks is on demon time. These folks is on demon time. Drop a 6. Drop a 6 if you believe that the Spirit of God is no longer amongst us. Drop a 7 if you think, oh yeah, if you know without a doubt the Spirit of God is amongst us. It's just the people is in rebellion. Marty says God is still here. Only thing he gave you was free will. It was the monster that used his free will for evil. Chick says our people have become so far removed from the things of God. Make sure y'all subscribe to Juanita's YouTube channel. Juanita is a content creator. Make sure y'all click on Juanita's link and subscribe to her channel. It's me, Lisa says, has the father been caught? Yes, the father has been caught. The father exchanged shots with law enforcement in Columbus, Ohio, and the father has been wounded. He's still alive, and he's expected to make a full recovery. But the father has been arrested. I see a lot of sevens. Victoria says, we have a lot of non-believers than believers. Salute Portia. Salute Pepper's Place. Make sure everybody give Pepper's Place a warm welcome. Make sure everybody give Pepper's Place a warm welcome. D Money dropped a 7. I believe Novi, this is her first time over here as well. Make sure everybody give all the new subscribers a warm welcome to the platform. James says 6. We at the end of days. Too much wickedness in the world. I ain't forget you, Almighty. Almighty says God is waiting on his people to turn from their evil ways and call on him. Salute Kern. Salute Kern. I see you. Grusky says God is definitely still amongst us. He has saved my life many times. Salute, Shalisha. Salute, salute. Make sure y'all give all my new subbies a warm welcome.
You haven't called her. You haven't sent her anything. You haven't said, oh, baby, I'm going to come get you for a weekend. We haven't seen you until this happened. Why we got to see you when it's a tragic moment? So, Tierra, where do you stand?
And Tierra lives in Cleveland, correct?
Yes.
And so the past 4 years, you're saying there's very little communication.
Very, very minimum. It wasn't even, she'll call my mom. She'll go through me and say, have you talked to mommy? And I'm like, no, about what? And she'll say, oh, well, she got custody of Keimani and she trying to get child support from me. So it wasn't that Tierra was concerned about Keimani. It was more of the why she want child support from me.
What is the relationship between your mother and your sister, Tierra?
It's very distant. They had their words. They fought. Keimani mother has a godmother that Keimani was with before my mom got her. And there was no communication then from Tierra. Tierra had I feel like Tierra just let her go. Because any mother would be on her toes to get her children back. That wasn't the case here. It just wasn't.
When was Keimani taken away from Tierra?
I'll say about 7-8 months. And then Tierra godmother stepped in and got custody of Keimani, which would have been around 9 months. Yeah, and Keimani had been with that lady from 9 months all the way up until about, I say 5.5 years ago. So it wasn't like Tierra was actually in the picture, saying, hey, maybe I can start getting myself together to get my child back so nobody else can get hurt.
You ever worried for Keimani's safety with any of the family members or anyone?
I wouldn't say I was worried because I was here. I was here every winter break, spring break, holidays, birthdays. I was here for Keimani. Yes, you come and you enjoy time with your family, but I was here for my niece. I also brought my youngest sister and her 2 kids from Indianapolis to be here for Keimani because we've been in the system before. So I know how it feels to feel like, dang, I'm at somebody's house or not wanted. I know those feelings. So I tried to give Keimani that at all times because she's wanted and loved by her aunts. And this is just devastating that I have to go through this for the rest of my life and knowing I'll never have the embrace of my niece, hey, TT, what you doing? When you coming down here, I'll never get to hear that from my baby again. And that's what kills me the most. I just wish that when I was down here last, that I had just taken her to Indianapolis with me. So this would have never happened. A lot of things, you know, woulda, coulda, shoulda, but at the end of the day, I just really wish that whatever happened and whoever did this, y'all didn't have to do that to her.
She's the first family member, and she almost got me in tears. She's the first family member that I've seen shed a tear. That's a family member that cares. That aunt is a family member that cares. We haven't seen the grandmother. I haven't seen the grandmother shed a tear. Haven't seen the father shed a tear. Haven't seen the mother shed a tear. See, and that ain't no faking. That ain't no faking. Let me just say this. Let me just say this, you all. And I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. Make sure y'all pull back up for Miss Parker at 8 p.m. I believe Juanita is doing her first live at 8:30 p.m. So make sure y'all check out Juanita's first live at 8:30 as well. Miss Parker is at 8 p.m. It's another content creator. She's going live as well, and I'll make sure I give her channel as well. But here's my thing. I do believe, and this is just my opinion, you all don't have to agree, but let me just give you all my opinion. I do believe that God's spirit is present. I do believe that God is present. I believe that man, woman, and child has fallen far away from God. Here's the solution, in my opinion. And this is just my opinion, okay? Because I've been around good Muslims, and I say this all the time, and I'm going to say it again. It's not the actual religion that you practice. It's not the actual God that you serve. It's your heart. It's your heart. And it's your mind. If you are a Jehovah's Witness, be the best Jehovah's Witness that you could be. If you are a Christian, be the best Christian that you could be. If you are a Muslim, be the best Muslim that you can be. And so on and so on. Whatever you call God, that's your thing. Whatever religion you practice, that's your thing. But just be the best. Be the best. Make sure your mind is right. You got to get your mind right. Make sure you have a heart that's not hardened. Make sure you don't have a toxic heart. Because a lot of Muslims got hearts that are hard. A lot of Jehovah's Witnesses got hearts that are hard. A lot of Christians have hearts that are hard. We got to get our mind right. We got to get the heart right. We got to. Let me go back. Let me go back to the aunt.
There's plenty of people out here with, you know, grown people that put themselves out there to be, you know, the sex workers or whatever it may be. You didn't have to do this to a child. There was nothing that Keimani would have done to make you hurt her. So she was a very timid kid, you know, tomboyish, you know, reserved. She wasn't, you know, loud and you know, out there. So it's just devastating that I have to, that me and my family have to go through this.
Is there anything else that you would like to add at this time in the interview? Anything else that I didn't ask, maybe?
I just want people to understand that family is family. And at the end of the day, don't be so eager to go against your family. Talk to your family and talk to the children. These children may be scared to talk to the parents about things that's going on or what may be going on because they feel like they may get in trouble. But make it known that to your kids that you can talk to me. Make it very open. You can talk to me about any and everything. Because that's what these kids need to hear nowadays. Instead of going on social media and talking to somebody over social media about it, like he did this or she may done that. Talk to your family because they can handle. They're the adults. They're supposed to handle it.
I like the way that the auntie put it. I like the way that the auntie put it. Talk to your family. Talk to your children. These children need our guidance. We got to remember that we were children at one time. The elders took time out to talk to us when we were young, dumb, and full of cum. Y'all remember that saying? But the elders took time to talk to us. And even though it might have went one ear and out the other ear, it stuck. And later on, we remembered the word. In the beginning, it was the word. See, you don't have to go to church. You don't have to go to the mosque. You don't have to go to the Kingdom Hall. You don't have to go to the houses of worship to hear the word of God. The word of God is not just in the Bible. The word of God is just not in the Holy Quran. The word of God is in me. The word of God is in you. The word of God is in all of us. We know right from wrong. We all know right from wrong. We got to do better, y'all. I got to do better. You got to do better. He got to do better, and she got to do better. We got to do better. We got to do better. We got to start talking. We got to start talking to these children because you never know the life that you could change just by talking. We know when we was young, you know what all I ever wanted? All I ever wanted was somebody to just listen to me. That's it. All I ever wanted was somebody to listen to me. But those that listen to me, they listen to me, but it would have made things a whole lot better if my family would have listened to me. And I ain't taking shots at my family, you know. But I'm sure we all wish that we had family members that would listen to us and not so much judge us, not so much tell us, boy, you stupid. Girl, you dumb for thinking like that. Boy, bye. Girl, get out my face. But just that listening ear to just be like, that's how you feel? Because like I said, we all know right from wrong. I'm not going to hold y'all that much longer. Make sure I just got a few quick announcements, and then we're going to get out of here. Make sure everybody pull up on Miss Parker. Miss Parker is going live at 8 Make sure everybody pull up on Juanita at 8:30 for more information and more detail on this case. Miss Parker is definitely the content creator to pull up on. She's done interviews with family members of Keimani Latigue. She's done interviews with teachers, with the teacher. So for more information on this case, please pull up on Miss Parker. Pull up on Miss Parker at 8 p.m. If you are interested in attending this year's 3rd annual Rock Squad meet and greet, it's going to take place in Charlotte, North Carolina, October the 23rd through October the 27th. Make sure y'all see Marty. If you are looking for shirts, see Miss Parker. Now, I'm not sure if Miss Parker wants to include her riders into the Rock Squad meet and greet. I'm not sure. That'll be something that I guess Miss Parker can maybe decide on, but I'm not sure. But we are having a Rock Squad meet and greet October the 23rd through October the 27th in Charlotte, North Carolina. If you are interested, please see Marty. Marty is in the chat. Make sure y'all throw up some prayer hands for my Rock Squad members, Nikki Lynn, Coffee Girl, and 80s Baby. Yes, my birthday is March the 27th. That's this Thursday. If you would like to bless me with a cash donation, my cash app is $ERICMCINT. Is there any more announcements that I need to make before we get out of here? Is there any more announcements that I need to make before we get out of here? We have 145 watching with only 81 likes. Can I get everybody to hit the like button? Can I get everybody to get my likes to 100 likes? If there are no more announcements for me to make, I will leave the chat running and you all can hang around for a few more minutes to congregate. Is there any more announcements? If not, I'll see you all over there with Miss Parker at 8, as well as 8:30 with Juanita Bro. Salute my magazine. Salute. I appreciate all of the birthday wishes. Salute everybody. I'll leave the chat running and I'll see y'all later. Salute. I'd like to place an order. Yeah. Hey, let me get a chicken box and a half a half. All right, good looking out. I'd like to place an order. Yeah. Hey, let me get a chicken box and a half a half. All right, good looking out. A chicken box a half and half when I'm switching lanes. I'm switching lanes. A chicken box a half and half when I'm switching lanes. When I'm switching lanes. A chicken box a half and half when I'm switching lanes. When I'm switching lanes. A chicken box a half and half when I'm switching lanes. When I'm switching lanes. A chicken box a half and half when I'm switching lanes. When I'm switching lanes. A chicken box a half and half when I'm switching lanes. But before we get started with this demonstration, let me read my copyright. Younger females like older men. So my smoothie is going to consist of switching lanes. A chicken box a half and half when I'm switching lanes. When
when I'm switching lane.
A chicken boxer half and half when I'm switching lanes. But I don't want to do this no more, Miss Parker.
What? You don't want to do this shit no more, nigga?
You're not listening to me, Miss Parker. And you know, with the demonstration that I've done, we gotta agree to disagree.
The fuck you thought? We was going back to the mud with this shit? Huh? It's part of life for you. It's part of the pussy for me.
All right, Miss Parker.
Wait, why is it so dark in here? I can't feel my legs. Why can't I feel my arms? What's happening?
Dice, I need you, man.
Don't call my real phone with that bullshit, my nigga.
I need to get out of town, man.
Goddamn, dog.
Yeah, everything's shut down. Dry clean's closed. Everything.